Hello and welcome to coverage of Grand Prix Irkutsk for the MSEM format. I'm Caillou, and today we're watching the finals match between Augur, who's playing Black-Red Villainy, which is a aggressive tempo slash controlling deck, and Pipsqueak's 5-color control. So we're joining in the middle of game one right here. Augur has resolved the titular card Villainy, and is basically attempting to land one of these Haymaker Planeswalkers to really ding Pip. Pip has had consistent counter magic so far, but the Villainy triggers have been going face, so Pip is in a bit of trouble life total wise. Is going to be able to deem unworthy the Villainy while Augur is tapped out, which basically just straight vindicates it. And then has multiple pieces of counter magic to stop Augur from resolving other threats, such as that Performative Desire they've got going on. Okay, so Augur doesn't, I guess, not sure why, but yeah, that gives Pip a window to resolve this Helen, and then immediately is going to -2 her, draws into a Consult the Dewdrops in a snow-covered forest, which means that Pip can now either counter 2 spells, or counter 1 spell and then Consult the Dewdrops on end here. And with Helen as a win con, despite being at a super low life total, could still claw their way back into this game. The main thing is that Pip doesn't have that much life gain main board, but has quite a bit of it out of the side. So on end is just gonna Consult the Dewdrops. But yeah, it's like, if Pip lets this game go a little bit too long, Augur could just lava spike them to death, is the issue. And yeah, Ignition Ritual is definitely not what you want to see right now. But he's going to animate the Helen, swing in for 4, has Augur on essentially a 5-turn clock. Also, at this point, I think you can just start like countering, if Augur has burn, or draws into burn, I think Pip can just start countering it. So, while we're kind of waiting the turns out, because it seems like Augur is just kind of draw going for now, I'm really confused about why Augur is not running out this Performative Desire. Like, it feels like by all accounts, Augur can run it out, immediately flip it. Or Duress, and then, yeah, it actually has enough mana to Duress and then still flip it on her turn, so I don't get it. Because now, like, Pip's position is only getting stronger. So yeah, while kind of Pip's just swinging with Helen and Augur's digging for an answer, anti-magic is kind of like the linchpin of this deck and what makes it work so well. In addition to, like, generally, Northern Holdout and Golden Glade together allow for crazy fixing, to the point where you can play utility lands like Nareba in a 5-color deck. But anti-magic essentially is just better counterspell when you have 5-color fixing. So it really lets you have a great density of like counter magic. And I think the main thing is that the other counter magic in the format, such as Cursory Glance, which is one of our better counter spells, and Arcane Genesis, which is blue, exile target, you get to like counter it and then exile spell, but your opponent gets a land. Both Cursory Glance and Arcane Genesis have their own like downsides you have to grapple with, but anti-magic really just doesn't have that, because the only cost is the deck building cost, and here the cost is very little because you're getting a 5-color mana base out of it anyways. And oh man, now Pip can lay down a Xanagan and start gaining back up life. Yeah, this is basically one of the only sources of life gain that Pip has, and I think that kind of puts Augur out of this game. I mean, as though Augur wasn't already firmly out of this game. Okay, Memento Mori coming down on the Helen animation, but I think Pip has so much mana that she should really have no trouble cursory glancing this, because she still has enough mana to be able to double counterspell on Augur's turn. And then As long as Pip survives a turn cycle, Augur doesn't. Okay, you're gonna try and Augur's gonna try and run out the duress on Pip. Pip is just gonna let it resolve. At this point, like, it doesn't really matter what Augur takes because Pip will still have double counter magic up. And yeah, Augur just saying GG, we're going to a game 2. So looking at sideboarding, Seal the Tomb could potentially be good versus stuff like one of Pip's sideboard cards, which is Stand Unassailable. It essentially has a flashback mode from Grave. It's also just kind of good to, if you duress one of Pip's win cons out of her hand and then just Seal the Tomb it becomes hard for the deck to do much except like maintain parity. Duress, I think, is just really good in this matchup. Explorer's Fate is another non-creature angle of attack, so could bring that in to get around like Pip's Thunder Waves and Exins, but Pip still does have Counter Magic and Demon Worthies, so it's questionable whether that trade is worth it. And that's basically my evaluation of the sideboarding. I think Duress is going to come in, maybe the Seal the Tombs, and maybe the Explorer's Fate. Meanwhile, for Pip, I don't think the wipes are going to come in just because that's not like Augur's deck basically plans on landing a single creature threat. It really isn't a go wide deck. The negates are potentially good, but really the Cursory Glance / Anti-Magic suite gets everything on its own as far as I know, so I don't think that the negate is needed. I could definitely see bringing in Demon Worthy and Squid Pro Quo as like unconditional threats. The Demon Worthy probably more so. And then, obviously, since this is like an aggressive matchup, I think Children of the Clouds and Stand Unassailable are probably coming in like guaranteed. And then probably take out some of the like I think I could see Eviana coming out here, Ignition Ritual, etc. So going into game 2, it looks like Augur went turn 1 a Duress, grab a Cursory Glance, then turn 2 Honorless Offering for it looks like 1, and just drew into a card. Pip meanwhile Imperial Ports on the end of Augur's turn, searches up a snow-covered island, plays it, and passes. So with Northern Holdout, this means that Pip now has perfect mana, especially because next turn we'll have perfect mana for Demon Worthy or Worlds Away. But yeah, without any other interaction, this becomes a little bit harder. Also, it looks like Augur did bring in the Explorer's Fate. So yeah, Augur is just going to Windmill Slam the Explorer's Fate. I think running under the logic that Villainy is more important, and therefore Explorer's Fate is something that Augur is fine with Pip Demon Worthying. And it looks like, yeah, okay, Pip did bring in the copy of Squid Pro Quo. So that is a great top deck, mainly just because it allows Pip to deal with whatever Augur plays here. So basically, if Augur plays Villainy, just immediately Demon Worthies that, and then can untap Squid Pro Quo the Explorer's Fate, or vice versa. But no, okay, is going to name Stolen Secrets. Pip isn't going to mess around, just going to Demon Worthy the Explorer's Fate in response. But if Augur names instant here, can probably will just probably still grab Squid Pro Quo. Yeah. And then at this point, the Villainy can land down next turn undeterred. Oh, okay, he's taking Worlds, which also makes sense here because letting Pip draw into 3 more cards of action is dangerous. I guess the difference is like how much you evaluate Squid Pro Quo as a threat. But I guess the thought is like losing Villainy doesn't hurt that much because Pip's ability to use it is limited. You still get a 3/3, so you're on the beatdown, and then can find another with Unforget. Or just, I guess, also can just Duress the Squid Pro Quo. I missed that Augur had a second Duress. Yeah, okay. So now Pip is just empty-handed. clutch top deck with Iviana, but doesn't have the 2 turns to really let this ride. And all the while, Augur's Jara champion is just going to be growing. Iviana can now no longer take this out with her 0. And yep, here comes Villainy. So now Augur has a clock in Jar champion. Villainy has come down, so all of Monger's future threats are kind of just crazy. And then Unforget can find another copy of Villainy if need be. And oh man, Pip with the craziest top deck again, Demon Worthy, just hitting these back-to-back non-land permanent removal spells. Or yes, sorry, Demon Worthy also can hit land permanents. Okay, so Jar Champion swinging out for a 3 here. On end, Pip is going to Demon Worthy the Jara Champion, which I guess makes sense because it's like that's the active threat, while Villainy is strong but needs other fodder. And also probably wants to protect this Iviana from being immediately killed. So Pip is going to drop down the Iviana, and then use her 0 to draw 2 cards. However, Pip is now tapped out. So, okay, so on end, Augur unforgets for an Iviana answer. Does Augur have point and click removal for walkers? It looks like Augur doesn't is the issue. Like, so I think you just, so Augur Villainy triggers the Iviana. Yeah, okay. So if Iviana bumps down to 5, then you tutor for, okay, Dark Bargain as a cheap card draw spell. But then I think you just play Xanagan, right? And then plus her on Iviana. But yeah, that is a surprising hole in Augur's like boarding or just deck in general. Like I would have thought at least space for like a one and done. Okay, so his end, yikes, is gonna play the Dark Bargain first, poke down Iviana for 2, but then this is bad because if Augur doesn't draw into another non-creature spell or a land, won't be able to play the Xanagan. And I guess it's just gonna play the Jar Champion, immediately crack Dark Bargain. Okay, so Augur can Honorless Offering X equals, oh, okay, it's going to do it X equals 2, but I was going to say could Honorless Offering X equals 1 and hope to hit another spell, but I guess refilling her hand is more important, so, oh, but it's Stolen Secrets Duress. Yeah, I could have just killed Iviana on the spot. But Iviana doesn't have many good choices here now. I think the best, like, you either, okay, so isn't going to 0, so I was going to say could 0 and kill the Jar Champ, but instead I guess it's just going to use the Thunder Wave. And Pip got super flooded this game. Only has Anti-Magic as interaction. And importantly, this means that Pip has no way to stop Augur from just killing this Iviana next turn. Because as long as Augur just goes Duress Stolen Secrets, the Villainy triggers can kill Iviana. The problem is if Augur tries to Windmill Slam Xanagan and doesn't draw a land, because land, Xanagan, and then something else is also a valid line, because then Pip will anti-magic the Xanagan, but the Villainy triggers will end up killing the Iviana. So yeah, I think just Duress into Stolen Secrets is the move. Yup, here comes Duress. So Pip is just going to anti-magic this because there's no reason to, or no reason not to. Just not going to give Augur the hand information, and then runs out the Stolen Secrets. It's not going to hit anything, but then the Villainy trigger will kill Iviana. Okay, so this is definitely a critical turn, because Pip needs something that was, okay, so I guess Nareba draws Pip cards, so actually not that bad, never mind. It is another land, but it's a land that comes stapled to repeated draw. But that means that this turn, Augur can Windmill Slam Xanagan and then just start poking Pip to death, because Pip, like, Augur knows that Pip doesn't have any responses. Like, in response, Pip is just gonna Nareba and then try to draw into interaction? No? Okay. So, Pip eats a whopping 4 from the Villainy trigger to face and then Xanagan, but will be able to draw 2 more cards with Nareba. Hits Imperial Port anti-magic, but yeah, is going to immediately cycle the Imperial Port as well to thin out her deck. Yeah, the anti-magic doesn't super matter at this point. Okay, he's gonna Nareba on her turn again because hits exit. Ugh. Yeah, okay, so has her own Xanagan to try and like stabilize, but at this point is almost tapped out. So I think if Augur just goes Stolen Secrets into another Villainy. Okay, no, so it's gonna Xanagan face. Villainy 2, but then it goes face and then Stolen Secrets. And yeah, that's it. So game 2 goes to Augur. Yeah, that really like Villainy is just so flexible and being and like you look at it and you're like, 2 damage isn't that much. Like I'm sure that you can like outraise it, but then you just keep playing those black non-creature spells, and they just have like, and your opponent is like, wait, if I counter that, I still lose 2. Wait, hold on. It turns your entire deck into like action, and that's especially important because I think um, one downside for black in and running hand attack is that unlike other forms of interaction potentially, the hand attack gets dicey later in the game where you draw it and they already have a board and you're like, damn, kind of not what I needed right now. But here, with Villainy, you are completely fine cycling your hand attack or playing it aggressively just as a shock. And yeah, so, but also Pip did get kind of screwed by flooding out there. Um, so let's see, hopefully that this game, uh, we'll see a lot more action from her. It looks not, though. This opening hand is another 5-land Whopper. Stand Unassailable is there and then has access to turn 3 Crystal Wave. Meanwhile, Augur with 4 lands, Honorless Offering, and then Villainy does not have a hand attack to be able to stop turn 2 Stand Unassailable. Oh, that was a Mult of 5? Oh no, okay, so it's just gonna hold on to Villainy, 3 lands, and the Honorless Offering then. Oh man, and a second Stand Unassailable for Pip. Definitely making the point that it's going to be much harder for Augur to burn her out this game. And yep, just going to Windmill Slam it up to 26. Meanwhile, I think Augur's just going to keep drawing. Yeah, okay, so it's going to Dark Bargain. Hits another Villainy. Probably just going to crack the Dark Bargain again. Yep. And Lucian is another great threat. So even though Pip does have Crystal Wave this turn, past that doesn't really have a lot of gas, and Augur can just keep playing these must-kill on-site threats. So yeah, I think Augur just Windmill Slams the Villainy. Why not? I guess the reason why not, could Honorless Offering X equals 3 and then hope to draw into hand attack, and then next turn hand attack plus Villainy? That is also an acceptable line. But yeah, no, it's just going to Windmill Slam the Villainy. Okay, and Pip is just going to immediately Crystal Wave that. And Anti-Magic top deck is pretty fantastic for Pip. Because, yeah, now can Stand Unassailable number 2, and then still hold up Anti-Magic to just counter anything that Augur might have. And Performer of Desire is another Haymaker threat, but it won't resolve this turn. Okay, gonna try and run out the Lucian, but yeah, Pip's just gonna insta-counter that as well. This draw step, Pip does not hit it, is instead just gonna cycle the Imperial Port. But yeah, once again, a case of the floods. Which means this turn, Augur can double spell Perform of Desire plus Villainy, and then Pip is put into a bind. Or I think could even... Yeah, okay, so Villainy... Could even Villainy Jara Champ, and then next turn... No, doesn't have enough mana next turn to perform her and immediately flip it. Oh, and it's going to Honorless Offering for X equals 2 instead? That's fine, but I feel like... I don't really agree with that, honestly. Like, I think... Realistically, you could have just played the Performer, and then if it gives Pip like a 1-turn window of if you don't answer this, you just lose. Okay, and Pip's gonna draws another Imperial Port. Gonna cycle it once more. Yeah, like Augur isn't being punished for it, but I really disagree with not getting on board there. Okay, so it's gonna Dark Bargain. Okay, and now it's gonna lay down the Performer, and has the mana to do Jar Champion right afterwards. So no matter. Even if Pip gets a removal spell, it's not going to be pretty. And has the Exant, but as it's an Edict, it won't be enough because Augur can just sack the Jar Champ. Oh no, but I forgot. Pip now has 6 mana, so can Stand Unassailable from Grave. Or sorry, has 7 mana. So stand unassailable arrives. Performer can fly over this, and also double villainy trigger will be able to kill a stand unassailable. Also, because flipped performer has indestructible, Augur can infinite jump. The problem is, of course, once Pip gets 2 down. Okay, so yep, Augur is going to flip performer. Pyrus has arrived. So swings for 9. I'm actually surprised. Oh, okay, I guess Augur is saving Explorer's Fate because wants a second black non-creature spell so that Augur can double trigger Villainy to kill a stand. Okay, so that makes sense. And then hasn't and can just keep the Jar Champions around as a block fodder. Okay, so it's going to swing in with the stand. Augur's just going to put a Jar Champion in front of it. And then main 2, Pip flashes back the second stand. Yup. So yeah, now Pip has gained a whopping 28 life this game off of the stand unassailable. And now it looks like Augur's the one who's getting flooded. So an interesting thing here is that Augur can play Performer and then keep up the mana to double pump it and then can choose not to flip it. So how this would work out is, so Swing Zone with Pyrus, Jar Champ goes up to a 4/4, and so Jar Champion can now block and kill one of the stand unassailables. Then Augur takes 6. Then next turn, Performer double pumps, chooses not to flip, and then can block the other. The issue with that, of course, is that Pip has the Exint, and so can kill the Jar Champion here and then force unprofitable blocks. No, okay, he's gonna just swing in with both. I think I would have Exited first. So Augur is gonna crack the Wayfarer Shrine, take 1, pump Jar Champion to a 5/5, and then and now actually can block the stand without the champion dying. Takes 6, but is definitely worth it. Oh yeah, wait, no, Jar Champion still dies. Never mind, what am I saying? Oh, and I'm stupid. The reason that Pip didn't play Exit, obviously, is because it's not if target opponent sacrifices creature, it's each player. I always forget that because Exit is usually not played in creature-heavy decks. But yeah, that would have been a really dumb move for Pip to play that, because then Pip would have just lost a stand unassailable for nothing. Augur would have sacrificed her Performer of Desire, and then would have just blocked the Jar Champion. So yeah, duh. The Duress from Augur, so can now actually Duress plus Explorer's Fate kill the stand. Okay, just gonna grab Pip's Exit. And yeah, I think this is the moment where Augur realizes, wow, Pip is also crazy flooded. And then Explorer's Fate kills stand, and then can swing in with Pyrus for a bunch. So yeah, puts Pip from 25 down to 15. Despite Pip gaining 28 life this game, Pyrus has just been devouring Pip's life total. Okay, on upkeep, Explorer's Fate makes her lose 2 more. Anti-magic, but again, a little bit too late for that. So Pip is going to concede there. And yeah, Pip got double flooded 2 games back to back. That was definitely an issue. And wait, so is this best of 5, or is that the end of the set? Oh, okay, never mind. In that case, that's it. Yeah. So Augur wins Grand Prix Irkutsk. Pilots the Black-Red Villainy deck from, I think, what was a top 4 finish last tournament to the top 1 finish right here. So really good to Augur. And I think this just goes to show, the meta keeps progressing onwards. We see crazy new decks, but some things never change, and Villainy is one of them. Just despite its harsh cost and both in its triple black and the deck building cost of needing a lot of black non-creature spells, it just continues to be a formidable engine. And Augur's aggressive build of it lends itself to Villainy's greatest strengths. So I think congratulations to Augur, and I think that this is their 3rd or 4th GP win. I'm not certain. I believe their last GP win was on mono red aggro, so it seems like they're continuing to have success with strong aggressive decks. And Pip, I think, will be pretty content with a 2nd place finish. Really showed the potential of this 5-color control deck. I guess the only regret will be that she didn't get to take home the first place crown before the mana base is uh, nerfed into the water essentially. But yeah, I think this was super cool as a finals match just because of all of the back and forth. So I'm glad we got to see this. But yeah, until next time, this is Caillou signing off. If this makes you interested in MSEM, please check out the description and join the format. We always love to have more people.